Centuries ago, the South China Sea was a vast, unclaimed frontier, its waters traversed by traders, explorers, and empires seeking fortune and dominion. The Spanish galleons, laden with silver, crossed these seas to reach the markets of Asia. The British, Dutch, and Portuguese left their marks, waging wars and forging treaties to control these lucrative maritime routes. But power is never static. The waves that once carried the ambitions of colonial empires now bear the weight of modern superpowers, each vying for dominance in a new great game. Today, the South China Sea is no longer just a historical crossroads. It is the heartbeat of global commerce, with $3 trillion in trade flowing through its contested waters every year. Yet, this lifeline is under siege. China, invoking an ancient 9-line claim, has transformed reefs into fortresses, ignoring the 2016 Hague ruling that rejected its assertions. The world has taken notice. In response, a coalition has emerged, the Squad, a loose but formidable grouping of the US, Japan, Australia, and the Philippines. They have watched history repeat itself, where unchecked aggression turns waterways into war zones. Their warships patrol the same waters once ruled by colonial armadas. But this time, the stakes are even higher. Now, a new chapter unfolds. General Bronner has announced a bold expansion of the Squad, bringing in India and South Korea. It is a move that echoes the alliances of old, when nations banded together to counter rising empires. But is this the dawn of a powerful new security pact, or the prelude to a conflict that will reshape the Indo-Pacific forever? The South China Sea churns not just with ocean currents, but with the tides of history and power. At the heart of this unfolding geopolitical storm is the Philippines, an archipelago of over 7,600 islands, standing as both a sentinel and a flashpoint in the Indo-Pacific struggle. The nation has long wrestled with the specter of encroachment in its exclusive economic zone, EEZ, with escalating confrontations that lay bare its vulnerabilities. We must not allow history to repeat itself, Philippine Defense Secretary Gilberto Teodoro warned in a recent address, referencing past colonial struggles and the need for self-reliance in defense.
And we have reassured other countries in the world that the Philippines is not allowed by the Constitution to wage war or any offensive action as an instrument of national policy. Now, if they do not take their word, our word, for it, then how can we trust each other?
In a decisive move, the Philippines ratified a landmark defense pact with Japan in December 2024, allowing for the deployment of forces on each other's soil, an unprecedented deepening of security ties. This agreement is not just a piece of paper, Teodoro declared. It is a testament to our shared resolve in defending freedom of navigation and the rule of law.
A resilient Japan and the Philippines against unilateral attempts by China and other countries to change the international order and the narrative.
The Philippines, once seen as a pawn in great power competition, is now maneuvering to become a player in its own right. Yet, as Thucydides once wrote, the strong do what they can, and the weak suffer what they must. The question remains, can the Philippines defy history? India, a rising power with the weight of history on its shoulders, has sharpened its strategic focus on the Indo-Pacific under its Act East policy. The 21st century will be shaped on the waters of the Indian and Pacific Oceans, declared Defense Minister Rajnath Singh, echoing a sentiment that highlights India's maritime ambitions. With 95% of its trade volume linked to these waters, India has no choice but to assert itself as a counterweight to China's growing naval presence. The scars of the 2020 Galwan Valley clashes, where 20 Indian soldiers perished in a brutal high-altitude skirmish, still linger. That encounter has only reinforced India's commitment to military modernization and deeper engagement with allies in the region. The expansion of the Squad, which now considers India as a core member, signals New Delhi's willingness to translate strategy into action. A strong navy is not a luxury, it is a necessity, Singh remarked, hinting at India's growing maritime footprint. South Korea, a powerhouse economy dependent on global trade, finds itself in a delicate balancing act. It has long walked a tightrope between its security ties with the US and its massive trade relationship with China. However, the shifting geopolitical landscape has forced Seoul to reconsider its approach. Joining an expanded security framework with the Philippines, Japan, the US, and now India would send a powerful signal. "We cannot ignore the changing tides of history," a senior South Korean official stated, speaking anonymously about Seoul's growing concerns over the South China Sea's instability. With South Korea's exports totaling over $700 billion in 2024, ensuring the security of maritime trade routes has become paramount. The Indo-Pacific, once a stage for economic cooperation, is rapidly transforming into an arena of high-stakes geopolitical maneuvering. The chessboard is set, the players are in motion, and the next moves will determine the balance of power in the region for decades to come.
Ready to get some lunch?
The United States, the architect of the Indo-Pacific strategy, is reinforcing its presence in the region to counter China's growing assertiveness. By supporting regional alliances and conducting multilateral maritime cooperative activities, the U.S. is demonstrating its commitment to a free and open Indo-Pacific.
3 allies, 3 steadfast partners, and 3 proud democracies representing 500 million people. We commit to writing that story in the future together. To building an Indo-Pacific that is free, open, prosperous, and secure for all.
A notable example is its joint operations within the Philippines' Exclusive Economic Zone, EEZ, signaling unwavering support for Manila's sovereignty. Freedom of navigation is not just a principle, it's a lifeline for global stability. This strategic posture highlights Washington's resolve to deter coercive actions in the South China Sea, where Beijing continues to push its maritime claims with an iron hand. The potential inclusion of India and South Korea into the expanding security framework, often referred to as the Squad, marks a critical shift in the Indo-Pacific's balance of power. From a realist perspective in international relations, alliances are often forged in response to perceived threats, and this expansion is no exception. India, already a key player in the Quadrilateral Security Dialogue, Quad, brings military strength and strategic positioning in the Indian Ocean, while South Korea's economic and technological capabilities would further fortify the coalition. The objective? To create a deterrence mechanism strong enough to prevent unilateral actions that could destabilize the region. This evolving security landscape also reflects the broader transition toward a multipolar regional order, where middle powers like India, Japan, and South Korea play pivotal roles in shaping the Indo-Pacific's future. "Security is no longer a zero-sum game," remarked a senior U.S. defense official. "The key to long-term stability is ensuring that no single power dominates the region." The expansion of strategic alignments suggests that the 21st century's great game will not be a simple contest between 2 superpowers, but rather a high-stakes balancing act among multiple influential nations, each seeking to shape the future of one of the world's most contested geopolitical theaters. In a recent development, General Romeo Brawner Jr., Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, made a striking declaration: "China is our common enemy." This statement was made in the context of discussing the potential expansion of the Squad, a strategic grouping currently comprising the United States, Japan, Australia, and the Philippines, to include India and South Korea. Such unequivocal language carries significant weight in international relations. Labeling a nation as a common enemy not only solidifies alliances, but also delineates clear lines of opposition. This rhetoric can escalate tensions, as it publicly identifies an adversarial relationship, potentially reducing the space for diplomatic engagement. For allies, identifying a common enemy can serve as a unifying force, strengthening cohesion and resolve. It reinforces a shared purpose and justifies collaborative defense measures. Conversely, For the identified adversary, this terminology can be perceived as a direct threat, potentially provoking defensive or even aggressive responses. The concept of deterrence in international relations hinges on psychological factors. The perception of unified opposition can deter aggressive actions, but it can also entrench adversarial postures. China has responded to such characterizations with strong rhetoric of its own. Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi criticized the Philippines' actions in the South China Sea, suggesting they were orchestrated by external forces, and likened them to a shadow play designed to smear China. He further warned that infringement and provocation in the South China Sea would backfire, implying that those acting as proxies for others are destined to be abandoned. This narrative aims to portray the Squad and its potential expansion as tools of external powers seeking to contain China, thereby delegitimizing their actions as lacking genuine regional support. Narratives play a crucial role in international relations, shaping how actions are perceived and justified. By framing the Squad as a collective defense against a common enemy, member nations seek to legitimize their strategic alignments and military collaborations. Conversely, China's depiction of these actions as externally manipulated attempts at containment seeks to undermine the legitimacy of the Squad and rally domestic and regional support against perceived external interference. The battle over narrative framing influences international public opinion, diplomatic relations, and the strategic calculations of both allies and adversaries. The language used by international actors, such as General Bronner's designation of China as a common enemy, and China's counter-narratives, significantly impact the geopolitical landscape. These rhetorical choices shape alliances, influence deterrence strategies, and affect the overall stability of regions like the Indo-Pacific.
This is Chinese naval warship. You are approaching China's territorial waters. Please state your intention.
Joint military exercises are pivotal in enhancing interoperability among allied forces, fostering mutual understanding and ensuring cohesive responses to potential threats. The SALACNIB exercises exemplify this collaborative effort. In 2024, the U.S. Army Pacific and the Philippine Army initiated SALACNIB 2024, involving field training, live-fire exercises, and subject matter exchanges in areas such as fire support, communications, engineering, counter-improvised explosive devices, and aviation. These activities not only bolster tactical proficiency, but also solidify the strategic partnership between the two nations. Intelligence sharing is a cornerstone of effective military cooperation, providing allies with a comprehensive understanding of potential threats and enabling synchronized responses. However, this collaboration presents challenges, including safeguarding sensitive information, aligning divergent intelligence protocols, and establishing mutual trust. Overcoming these obstacles offers significant opportunities, such as improved threat detection, coordinated strategic planning, and a unified stance against common adversaries. Collaborative endeavors in the defense industry, such as joint development and production of military equipment, can lead to cost reductions, technological advancements, and strengthened alliances. For instance, India's inauguration of its first private military aircraft plant, a collaboration between Tata and Airbus Spain to produce the Airbus C-295 transport aircraft, signifies a move towards self-reliance and technological innovation in defense manufacturing. The Squad, comprising the United States, Japan, Australia, and the Philippines, represents an informal multilateral grouping aimed at countering coercion across Asia and ensuring interoperability of defense capabilities. This structure offers flexibility, allowing member nations to adapt to evolving security dynamics without the binding commitments characteristic of formal alliances like NATO. However, the lack of formalized obligations may lead to ambiguities in collective defense strategies and response mechanisms. The expansion of the Squad to include India and South Korea could support collective defense mechanisms, enhancing deterrence against potential aggression in the Indo-Pacific. This integration fosters a networked approach to security, aligning with the U.S. Department of Defense's 20 22 National Defense Strategy, which emphasizes collaboration with allies and partners to deter adversarial actions. Joint military exercises, such as the Salaknib drills between the US and the Philippines, exemplify efforts to improve interoperability and readiness among allied forces. These collaborative endeavors aim to present a united front, discouraging unilateral aggressive actions by demonstrating a collective commitment to regional stability. Conversely, the formation of such alliances risks escalating tensions, potentially leading to military confrontations. Recent analyses indicate that US-China relations are increasingly characterized by zero-sum competition, heightening the risk of miscalculations. China's extensive military exercises near Taiwan have raised concerns about potential misinterpretations that could lead to unintended escalation. The Indo-Pacific is witnessing a shift towards a multipolar order, with regional powers like India and South Korea playing more prominent roles in shaping the security architecture. This transition reflects a move away from US unipolarity, as like-minded nations develop independent capabilities and engage in unilateral partnerships to address shared security concerns. Such dynamics allow middle powers to influence regional stability, contributing to a more balanced distribution of power that can either mitigate or exacerbate tensions, depending on the nature of their engagements. Amid these evolving scenarios, dialogue and diplomacy remain crucial in managing tensions and preventing conflict. Engaging in diplomatic efforts, such as summit diplomacy, can complement military deterrence by reducing misunderstandings and building trust among nations. Balancing deterrence with open communication channels is essential to avoid the pitfalls of the Thucydides trap and ensure that competition does not escalate into open conflict. Explores the historical patterns of conflict between rising and established powers, emphasizing the importance of strategic choices in averting war. These works provide valuable perspectives on the complexities of international relations in the Indo-Pacific, stressing the need for careful management of alliances, deterrence strategies, and diplomatic engagements to navigate an increasingly multipolar world. The Indo-Pacific remains a dynamic and contested region where strategic alignments, military cooperation, and diplomatic narratives shape the balance of power. As analyzed, the Philippines is reinforcing its defense posture amid growing tensions. India is expanding its strategic reach through its Act East policy. South Korea is navigating its economic and security dilemmas. And the US is deepening alliances to counterbalance China's assertiveness, while deterrence efforts, intelligence sharing, and joint military exercises enhance regional stability. The risk of escalating tensions cannot be ignored, particularly with the growing military activities around Taiwan and unresolved border disputes. The uncertain future of the Indo-Pacific underscores the necessity of strategic thinking, proactive diplomacy, and a nuanced understanding of great power politics to avoid the pitfalls of confrontation. As multipolarity emerges, middle powers will play a crucial role in shaping regional security dynamics, making informed discussions and engagement essential. In the complex game of geopolitics, alliances are forged and strategies are deployed, but the ultimate goal remains the pursuit of peace and stability. Thank you for tuning in to our channel. If you enjoyed the video, please remember to like, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for more in-depth analysis of global issues.